Hey, this is Mike Masha. Jeff Johnston and I have been wanting to get an update on the Funds Finance Association's conference schedule for 2021 out to the community. But it's been a little bit of a challenge as the schedule's been in flux. But we did have some updates and we wanted to catch up with everybody today to try to go over what the 2021 game plan looks like. Jeff, how are you, man?
Doing good, doing good. I'd be doing better if it wasn't 39 degrees and raining in Charlotte and I was down in sunny Miami, but we're hanging in there.
Yeah, a year ago, the weather was a little better, huh?
It was definitely a better situation than what you and I are dealing with today. That's for sure.
Yeah. So you've been working really, really hard negotiating with a Fountain Blue, trying to get our game plan together with a pushback date and a potential new date. Can you give everybody an update on where things stand as of now?
Yep. Yeah. I think you led into it, the right way. We're probably a little bit late in doing this, but it's been an ongoing conversation for months and months, and candidly, just something that as the landscape continues to change with COVID, and where the possibility of having large in-person events and large scale corporate travel continues to evolve. It's been something that we continue to evolve and thinking about what is within the realm of possibility. Clearly, we're not doing a in-person event in the springtime. Down in Miami, we definitively want to get back to in-person events, and have been working with the Fountain Blue on trying to figure out if there's a feasibility for doing something in 2021. I think at this point we're looking to the end of the year as a potential, but continuing to be a fluid situation. So hopefully we have some form of in-person event by the end of the year, but realistically it quite likely could slip a full year from when we intended on it, and be a spring of 22. So I wish I had a specific date to give everyone and a hard confirmation that we're a go, but at this point we're really going to have to continue to play by ear. But at least the intent from the FFA's perspective is to look to do something. If we do a live, I'm sure it will be a hybrid format to accompany those not able to attend. But assuming we're at a position where vaccine rollout and travel begin to pick up, in earnest later this year, we want to jump on it and be one of the first events in the industry to come back.
And how are you thinking about the potential for a London event and an Asia event this year?
Yeah, it's really market specific. I think what is definitely not going to happen is a full scale event in all of our major markets that are in person later this year. So I do think stepping back in, we need to be a little modest with with how we go about constructing something and working with our sponsors. But I would love to see something, if local markets allow it, to allow some smaller version of in person that at least gets the cocktail hour back, and the camaraderie and the ability to network in person. I think we'll continue to find ways to put out content virtually, and I think we can do a pretty good job in achieving the education and market update aspect of what we get done in the events on a virtual basis. But at least we haven't cracked the nut yet on how to make up for the in-person connection that you get. So I'm hopeful that we can do something on a smaller scale. I think it's unlikely to resemble the full scale conference format until we get into 2022.
Yeah. Well, with the possibility of events in the fall, I hope to the extent it's possible, our sponsors can try to keep their marketing budget open and available for the FFA events. I'm doing budgets right now. I'm sure a lot of people are. And with everything in flux, it's a little awkward to know what to submit for. But my hope would be that people could keep their marketing budgets open to support our events if we're able to get them, in play in the fall.
Yeah, I mean, completely agree. We're having the same, conversations in my shop. Understand for a lot of people that's a really tough one to get into the year and to not have, budget allocations, and there's a lot of things in flux now. But I think that's right. I mean, the intent is definitely to do something. We'll certainly be working with everyone to figure out the right form and way to be involved. But I would echo your sentiment to hold a reserve for us now, and hopefully we can come through with something.
Right. So, Jeff, one of the things that, has been a priority for you and me this year that I think is a little bit different, fund finance had a really, really good year through 2020. But, the FFA's business model, of course, is an event business model, and events didn't happen in 2020. And so one of my priorities here as a board member has been kind of to survive in advance. And I think, frankly, the FFA was super, super lucky, no brilliance of our own, but the date of our Miami conference was right before the travel bans all came in place. So we actually got to hold that event, and we got to collect from our sponsors for that event. But I do want to commend the work you've done to kind of keep the FFA afloat in 2020. And we had a good balance sheet going into this, but you've done a really good job kind of steering us through this. And I know kind of, getting us back to in-person events is important to you, important for me as part of our leadership of the board. So thank you for what you've done in that regard.
Yeah, well, thanks, Mike. Appreciate the compliment, but it's the entire board has been working hard. You've definitely been a huge leader in the process. So commend everyone, commend the sponsors for working with us through the virtual event that we were able to put together and to do last November. So it definitely takes a community, and we're lucky to be working in a pretty good community. And your point's well noted that this market, I think, had a lot of ups and downs last year's and some early challenges, but had a lot of positive momentum going into the end of the year. So that certainly helps as a backdrop.
Yeah. Well, besides kind of making it back to return to normal, what are some of the other priorities that the board is focused on for 2021?
Yeah. So I think what one of the benefits, if you will, of the turn to virtual events has really enabled a lot of the affinity groups within the FFA to jump to the forward focus. I mean, the women in fund finance have been doing a fantastic job of putting out content. Next Gen is continuing to lead the way, both with the mentorship program as well as other content driven initiatives. So it's been great that we from more of a macro level have really been able to lean on and let shine some of the different groups, either regionally or affinity based, to continue driving things forward into how we communicate with the constituency. So certainly anticipate that continuing on in 2021, and it's great to see a lot of new faces and fresh folks and perspectives be able to get some airtime and take on leadership within that. So that's hugely important. And then I think Mike, you and I have been at this for a while with the FFA now, and really need to continue spending time into what is the next generation of the FFA going to look like, from a board structure standpoint, from a regional structure standpoint, from engagement with constituencies. So I think survive and get through is definitively the right mode and mentality now. But hopefully we can take advantage of some of this time to figure out what the next phase and iteration of FFA is. Bringing Michelle on full time to work has really enabled us to do a lot of different things from a content standpoint. We've got some new ideas with the website and otherwise. So I hopefully within 2021 we can lay the foundation for what the next iteration of this organization is going to look like.
Right. And what 2021 other events do you forecast coming on this year?
Well, I certainly think we'll have a few more, I'll say, larger scale virtual events throughout the next 6 months or so. There's it's probably a little bit too early to, release some details and to talk about different ideas, but we have a couple of different things that are in early stages that don't quite look, on the size and scale as what the November event looked like, but a little bit more both market update and specific driven commentary. So I think between the virtual events and then a hope to later into the year of being able to do something in person, that's probably the broader slate. Mike, you've spearheaded and been pretty involved in FFA University, a new iteration from Europe that was pretty well received just recently. What are your thoughts there? Is that something that we'll continue to do in 21?
Yeah, I was thrilled to get that done in Europe. Paul and Amy really did a good job. I like some of their changes to the format, but my hope is to pull off another FFA University in the U.S. in the August-September timeframe. It will likely have to be a virtual event. But there are some benefits in the university context of virtual, and that more people can go because it's very expensive, for example, for us to send folks from Charlotte or San Francisco or the like to New York, where from a virtual event, we could do the event at a much lower price point, and we were able to reach a lot more people. So yes, that event's going to go. The other thing that I plan to launch here, Jeff, in the next couple of weeks is the awards. So the Julian Black Contribution to the Industry Award, the Dee Dee Sklar Women in Fund Finance Award, the Next Gen Young Professional Award. And I also hope to introduce a new Diversity Award to recognize an individual who's been a good contributor to improving the diversity and inclusion aspects in our industry.
Yep. No, that sounds great. I mean, one of the premier aspects of the our Miami in-person event. So it's great to be able to see that to continue to get done, even though we're not going to beat the original timeline from something in person to honor everyone in front of a large audience. But great to keep pushing that forward.
Right. Well, thanks for making time to chat and give everybody an update. Again, if anybody has any suggestions for how we can make the FFA better, Jeff and I are always receptive to ideas. Please reach out. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, everyone.